afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting and riveting, amazing Propagandacast from your host, Imperial Dane, Master Propaganda, Hero Psych, Defender of the Fatherland, off here to our 1 vs 1 on Crossing in the Woods. In the south is VonClauswitz, fighting for the Wehrmacht, Germany, Deutschland, fighting for the Panzer Division VonClauswitz. Yes, indeed, there was such a division created in the, well, twilight days of the Third Reich. So, little fun fact there. With German infantry, Ostrup and close air support. There's in the north, you got Findeed, Finland's finest. Well, not really. But fighting here for King and Country, the Commonwealth, the Guards Armoured Division with mobile assault, special weapons, and Royal Engineers, mostly infantry with a single machine gun. Therefore, Findeed, in terms of bulletins, double sections, and Findeed moves up bravely for King and Country. VonClauswitz here with Grenadiers and MG42s, the quintessential Wehrmacht start. Don't leave home without it. Third section on the way there for Findeed, standard stuff, lots of sections. There might be vehicles down the road to help deal up with the Huns. Section moving out here for Findeed. And the Huns, I believe, came from a speech a German emperor made. I believe, of course, the Kaiser. I think it was in relation to the Boxer Rebellion. I might be missing things up in my head there. But basically, he refers to, Attila the Hun. And so, it started with, the British calling them Huns. Sandbags up here. Note the way he's doing it here. In this case, also prevents the opponent from usually moving in here and getting out of the house. It's a sneaky little move there by Findeed. The move of a highly skilled veteran player who has seen many battles, many engagements, slain many men with his hands. They've yet to catch him for that one, though. Third section there, they're sitting out here for Findeed. MD4 sitting up here, aggressive position there by VonClauswitz. Risky, but at the same time, also what more, shall we say, veteran players do. They do play the machine gun somewhat aggressively and actively. Second Grenadier squad, they're ready for VonClauswitz and the Panzer Division VonClauswitz. Section moving eastwards. MD42 hanging back here. Pioneers being westwards, going to be seizing the point here. We'll have to see what VonClauswitz goes from next. As for Findeed, I'm smelling a tech here. Fast in, maybe a sniper or some sappers here. Versus VonClauswitz machine falling back here, and Findeed's assaulting section. Machine and Gewehr deploying to deal with this Tommy threat. Third Grenadier squad there for VonClauswitz. Findeed is in not taking up, he's actually bolstering his sections and going for a fourth section. Findeed and the Guards Armoured Division have reached a conclusion that more infantry is needed to stop the Teutonic threat in their sector, to hold back the Nazis. Section holding up here, Pioneers moving about in the west. Back here, nothing further going there from VonClauswitz except those third Grenadiers. Sandbags being laid down here by the victory point. Hard at work, logging those heavy sandbags up and down. And there go fourth section up for Findeed. And of course, with bolts there, they're going to be tougher, nastier. And that's a bit trickier for VonClauswitz to deal with. And he's going to likely have to upgrade his Grenadiers. Well, of course, it's going to be the German infantry and the veteran squad here. It's just going to stick to light machine guns. Would be interesting. We do see close air support. That is a doctrine that does not see a lot of usage. As for Findeed, he's obviously got his options open here. We'll have to see what he ends up with there as well. There you go, fourth section arriving. I imagine it's going to be tank next, or it could be grenades. It's not uncommon for British players of both of the sections to go for grenades. MD42 moving in there. Note again, VonClauswitz is flexible there with the MD42. He does not just keep it in one spot. He quickly moves over there from zone of action to zone of action. That way, backing up his Grenadiers, and the German infantry was, in a sense, organised to fight around the MD42 light or heavy. The heavy machine guns were usually part of a sort of separate heavy weapons platoon, sort of part of the company. A little fun fact there, usually a pair of MG42s and some mortars as well. I think there's 4 MG42s and 4 mortars, but anyways, MG42 dealing with the section. Note that the platoon would be usually split up to support wherever needed. Similar with mortars, actually. The sort of platoon level mortars, or company level mortars, I mean, would not be, sort of just put together in a battery. They sort of be attached to be able to support the entire company. From the five for the section east, we got Saps on the way there for the MD42 routed. Again, aggressive, but in this case, he left it a bit too much in his own, which is what you do not want to do, in particular once things get to later on and a bit more dicey. Sapper's almost down there for Findeed, flanking up here again, making use of the house again. He once more very sneakily prepared. Fighting him with the Grenadiers, threatening the retreat path as well. VonClauswitz need to be fast about retreating here. No grenades for Findeed. I was looking for an extra way to take advantage of this little flank here. All the way from VonClauswitz, and the Panzer Division from VonClauswitz right flank is collapsing. Pioneers moving up with their Flammenwerfers. Grenadiers move towards the centre. Mines moves up there for Findeed. He's obviously worried about telemines first and foremost, since most Valorant players, or a lot of them anyway, tend not to be huge users of S-mines, but they are still effective. But telemines are definitely something more Valorant players tend to make use of, and of course they're the sort of thing that can absolutely blow apart, you know, British early game. Things go, oh, apparently wasn't quite covering there, still can be useful I guess, slow him down. MD4 setting up his sections, retreating, Pioneers bring in to sweep out those Tommies, those Inselaffen. Gonna do this first the section here. Down here, troops reinforcing, healing, 2-2 almost done for VonClauswitz. 6-pounder gun for Findeed. Obviously anticipating a German light vehicle, most likely preparing for the possibility of a flamethrower half-tech, since a flamethrower half-tech that is not stopped can very quickly get unpleasant. So I imagine here this is basically the eventuality that Findeed's most worried about, and an AC would not be super fast enough to deal with that, so the 6-pounder gun should be, I imagine, sort of there to close off that possibility here from VonClauswitz. 2-2 moving up here, backed up by the Grenadiers. Should probably add some light machine guns soon here to help fight off the bolstered sections.
The bunker has been converted to an emergency medical station.
MD42 back in action with its Lafette tripod. That was actually also the second type of tripod for the MD42 that was used against aircraft. That sort of allowed to sort of aim better against those. Little fun now. Troops reinforcing. Grab the centre here so far. VonClauswitz is striking out against Findeed. Findeed is so far been struggling a bit, but he's preparing there for a big counter, or big push in the west. And needs a bit of distraction there, maybe to draw away attention there from VonClauswitz, but he's going into the west. 6-pounder gun, those ready here to fend off the 2-2. The lighter puncher Speerwagen, which is a degree actually has seen more and more uses than the flamethrower half-tech actually, which is sort of a bit interesting to note. Not that the flamethrower half-tech is bad, it's just the 2-2 is actually a bit more flexible, and more importantly does not cost munitions, and a well-handled 2-2 can actually still be a threat to the infantry. I mean, it's not going to cause as much shock damage in the sense of the flamethrower, you just quickly do a ton of damage, but it still has a very nice, respectable sort of flatliner damage more consistently. And it's also pretty good, you know, just for harassing units and such. Section need to retreat 2 hours. Findeed's going to short 1 man. In the west, assault continues. Got Findeed is flanking up behind Findeed. A bold move here, and Findeed simply does not have the methods to, you know, punish this. He's got 9 to tank grenades, activating the light machine gun. Nice play there from VonClauswitz with the Grenadiers. Very nice. Again, risky if Findeed had access to grenades, but Findeed the grenades apparently does not mix. Got the MD42 joining in as well there, and this gives Grenadiers exactly enough time to get away there, having disrupted Findeed's front line there. In the west, he's heading for the fuel point. In the east point, they're being secured by VonClauswitz. We'll have to see what Findeed does next. So far, that it is not looking like any additional tech upgrades here. There's enough dogs in there for either player. Machine gun on flank the right. We got a pack 40 up for VonClauswitz. He's always down to get worried about the possibility of VAC here from Findeed, though so far, again, Findeed, oh wait, wait a minute, no, it's not that, he's actually now going for the grenades, but he is remaining very ardently armoured car agnostic. Tabers need to fall back, they're down to just this minesweep and a single Sten gun. The submachine gun with a rather mixed reputation, partly due to a lot of reliability issues. Part of them were basically down to the magazine, which was single feed, which was, by the way, fun fact, they actually got that idea from the Germans, which also had that single feed magazine, and tended, you know, of course, jamming and all that. Interesting enough, the German submachine, of course, never quite got those complaints, but obviously it's probably also because there's more to it than just the magazine. East, we got the section moving up and pushing back the Pioneers, moving in here in the east and west. 2-2 moving up. Vickers on the way here for Findeed to help control from VonClauswitz infantry. Never a bad idea. Certainly seeing Vickers machine guns slightly catching on more and more with the Brits as they realise they can't fully rely on their section as much as they could. So Vickers machine gun being brought in to help control the infantry, and we got close air support here from VonClauswitz and the Panzerdivision VonClauswitz. bit of an ad hoc Panzer Division, and most Panzer Divisions by 1945, late 45 really, were not quite the same size as they were in the beginning of the war. In fact, by 1945, most Panzer Divisions were more or less the exact same as a Panzer Division, as they sort of reorganised there, with one Panzer Battalion, a few battalions of Panzer Grenadiers, and a bit of other things. So, little fun side note there. But we got taken there from VonClauswitz when we head for the armour, trying to sort of pull ahead of Findeed there, and this could also very likely be why I went for close air support, to further support that with a supply drop zone, mastering what little fuel reserves the Wehrmacht has at this stage of the war to further advance the course in this section. There you go, quickly dropping it in. First large delivery of fuel here, and also not in this case really fast due to the way it's sort of positioned here. In fact, they're over really fast, shouldn't be able to be disrupted. We got mines down here, troops being caught by the MD-42. VonClauswitz dispatches pioneers, but gets second thoughts. We've got mines up and Findeed to help cover up against flanks and assaults in the east. Slow approach here, taking advantage of VonClauswitz, basically centering his forces around the west part of the map to hit up the east very quickly. Good read there by Findeed. Some players would just have left that alone, but Findeed realizes he has to hit it. Down here, or up there is no further tech for Findeed, in which case he's... Oh, there we go. Tech is happening. But due to the supply drops here, he is gonna be behind in tanks no matter what. Since Findeed lacks that option and hasn't gone for fuel cache at some point sooner. So a little supply burst here from VonClauswitz, allowing him to push for panzers faster than Findeed. And the Guards army is prepared for here. Section moving up here, flanking up there. We got artillery flares also ready. We got grenades ready. The Mills bomb. Section they're taking losses from the Grenadiers, but Light's going to go for the MD-42. He's going to pop that Mills bomb. He's going to pop it for King and Country. For King George. But no, Pound decides he doesn't have to. Oh, wait. Oh, he's calling an artillery here? Oh, that's cheeky. A bit strange, though. A bit strange. I'm not entirely sure why he would call in the artillery. It could have been a misclick, though. In theory, you know, if the Grenadiers were forced to retreat, they could be forced to retreat for the artillery. But my theory here is he either misclicked or he pressed the wrong hotkey. Something like that. I mean, that can happen. It's definitely a bit of a waste of an artillery barrage there by Findeed. Or there might have been some plan that just... There's no real... I mean, that's got C and that's got D, so I mean, theoretically it's not impossible to just, you know, misclick there, or you just click button with mouse button missed. But there you go, we've got doctrine left from Findeed. This is Royal Engineer Regiment. An interesting choice here at this stage of the fight. Not entirely sure what compels Findeed to aim for this, but I'm interested to see how he does with it. In the south, VonClauswitz is ready. He's got the Panzer IV almost on it to support the Panzer Division von VonClauswitz. Findeed now going for snipers to conduct a war of attrition against the Germans in this sector. So that way hope to slow them down sufficiently. There you go, grenade off. This time popping the right thing and wiping the MD-42 crew. Can he steal the MD-42? I would say, considering the proximity of the base and the overall, shall say, balance of forces in the area, it seems a bit unlikely. Actually, it's not impossible. No, never mind, the Panzer IV's there. No, it's impossible. And as the 2-2 is basically being used as bait, the 6-pounder gun is outmaneuvered by the Panzer IV. That was a really neat move there by VonClauswitz. It's a nice little trick. They're using a vehicle as bait for anti-tank weapons, that way drawing them away from you, then incoming assault. Clever move there by VonClauswitz. It's a trick I, by the way, like to use myself whenever possible. But right here, though, things take a dark and dramatic turn for Findeed, VonClauswitz. For Findeed, it's a bright turn. It's a turn of hope. As his opponent there gets too overconfident, hits the mine right next to the anti-tank gun. Gets pelted with anti-tank grenades as well. 6-pounder gun crews down, but got the snub there joining in. Might just be able to finish it off with it. No, we got the 2-2 going in for it. Can the Panzer IV escape here? This is... Oh, dear. Second gun to go for the anti-tank gun. 2-2 there pursuing the sniper. Oh, no, he might get it. 6-pounder gun recruit. No, sniper makes it. He's afraid to move in due to the machine gun emplacements. Panzer IV trying to escape here. The 6-pounder gun of Findeed. Section down, but the Panzer IV is only abandoned. 2-2 rolling back here, heavily damaged, and he gets away. Whew, that was some intense fighting here between VonClauswitz and Findeed. Grenadiers moving up here, flanking the machine gun, rifling off into the fortification here. Doesn't end up doing too much damage. There go Findeed goes for his own tank, the Cromwell, to show Harry Hun here who's the real boss.
Enemy causing trouble, trying to take one of our points.
Bloody intense fighting here. We got VonClauswitz with some close air support here to further suppress the British defenders. There we go, routing the section. The Vickers like those are going to have to fall back pretty soon. They're pinned down. It is absolutely useless. In the west, we've got a small movement here by Findeed section. Grenadiers, or sappers moving up here. Grenadiers are on the move.
Supply lines being cut.
Resources cut off as well here. Cromwell is almost done for Findeed. Almost done, at which point the counterattack can begin. We got the 2-2 being repaired in the east by the fuel point. Grenades attempted here, rifle grenade off.
Splendid Cromwell ready to go. We're ready for orders.
Fun fact about the German rifle grenade, he actually required putting an attachment on the rifle first before you could then fire it. Other armies do attack, you can sort of just attach the rifle directly to the grenade directly to the rifle and then just fire it like that. But the Germans had to attach a small cut before you could then fire the rifle grenade. So a little fun side note there. It was known as the Schissbecker or shooting cup. From there routing about here, clearly not worried about Telemines now. I think he's trying to get the Grenadiers here more than anything. Yep, if we get a wipe here, that'd be helpful there for Findeed. And bad luck there for Findeed. Bad luck. He might be able to get the 2-2 and put Vengeance on. Also, I don't think he's realised that the Panzer IV is abandoned, in which case you could actually now make a run for it and steal it, turning against VonClauswitz. I mean, that'd be huge for Findeed. I'm actually surprised. Oh, he actually got the machine gun. Apparently, VonClauswitz has not realised that one either. Seems like VonClauswitz is sort of the forgetful type. At which point, forgetting about an entire tank is a bit embarrassing. Hey, Heinz, didn't forget a Panzer over there. What do you mean? There's no Panzer there. I'm pretty sure I'm looking at it. More sections there for Findeed. Crom's going to do some repairs. Panzer IV remains here, somehow engulfed in a cloak field or something like that. Cloaking field there.
Our capture point. They're trying to take it.
So now getting some hits as he goes for the carve point. We got 3 kills here. 2-2, good to go once more for VonClauswitz. Sniper rather exposed. Machine gun sitting up there. Still having a machine gun here from VonClauswitz. Pretty good move there by Findeed. Sending out a bunch. Section ready. Cromwell almost good to go. And there you go. Second Panzer on the move. Sniper routed. And artillery caught up. That's an air strafe here. Findeed immediately pulls back his boys to avoid further complications here from the Luftwaffe. In the west here section was the 2-2. We got Grenadiers squad that defend the western fuel point. Both fuel points, by the way, under control of essentially VonClauswitz, though they're not all connected. Panzer IV moving up. Panzer IV, by the way, still remaining undiscovered. Like some long forgotten lost city. The long lost forgotten city of Panzer IV. Model J. And there we go, the VonClauswitz archaeologists have found it. Out in the bloody open. Pack 40 currently at the centre, preventing a direct rush here by Findeed. Right side, there could be able to Cromwell push. We got the Panzer IV applying pressure on the west side. 6 gun needs to stop that. Saps on the way from Findeed. Likely going to get flamethrowers on them, I imagine, to help burn out VonClauswitz. And there you go, 6 gun landing directly on the Panzer IV's frontal armour, piercing it with ease, and a second shot there causes further damage and grief. In the meanwhile, the other Panzer IV is being repaired here as VonClauswitz is running a distraction operation in front of it, basically hoping that Findeed is only paying attention to what's in front of the tank and somehow continues not to see the tank itself. This operation will later be known as Operation Pink Elephant and would be started in many German war academies after the war. Grenadiers versus section T, machine gun opening up on the Grenadiers. Sniper standing about there with 6 kills. And there you go, the Panzer IV is operational. Operation Pink Elephant is a success. Grenadiers routed by the Cromwell here in the east. Halfway to Veteran 2-1. Pack 4 being hauled back. Mines being laid down here by Findeed, hoping to, you know, catch lightning twice in a bottle. Mines being laid down here, sniper hanging about here with 7 kills, Veteran 2-1, not having the biggest impact there yet on VonClauswitz and the Panzer Division VonClauswitz. One of the last, if not the last, Panzer Division to be created. They actually got created. Obviously. I mean, the Germans will also create a lot of on-paper-only division. For example, the SS Panzer Division, well, technically only really having it up to the 12th. On paper, actually had a lot more. For example, in theory, there's like the 25th SS Panzer Division stationed in Denmark, as an example. That was really just an SS Panzer Grenadier Brigade, but on paper, that was an SS Panzer Division, meant, you know, to be there to sort of fool the Allies into thinking there's a full SS Panzer Division there. And there are a lot of those sort of units sort of stationed across Europe. It's a little fun fact there. 6-pounder gun number 2 on the way for Findeed to back up his armour versus VonClauswitz. Sturmgeschütz for VonClauswitz. A lovely choice there. Certainly helps us the armour. Artillery down here. Very close to the base, by the way. He's probably going to catch some of VonClauswitz's units, maybe damage the infantry company as he's bringing up a mortar. The Granatenwerfer. Sniper getting off a kill there. 8 kills. 6-pounder gun caught by the Grenadiers for their LMG 42. In the west, we've got the Panzer back up the Pioneers. Stug almost done. Mortar ready. It could theoretically be taken up with artillery. Cromwell Panzer 4 moving ahead. Moving back, Panzer moving ahead. Moving up. He goes straight from the machine gun backed up by Grenadiers. Vickers machine gun there being overwhelmed. We could see a small chance here of it being wiped out and stolen by VonClauswitz in the centre. Grenadiers advancing, but are thwarted by a mine. Cromwell need repairs desperately in the sec east. MG42 being outmaneuvered there by the Grenadiers with the LMG 42. And the Vickers dust breathed his last here and is now a German machine gun. Fun fact, the Germans did have a similar gun in the army. There was the MG8. That was basically based on the Maxim machine gun, you know, more or less same machine gun. Well, not quite. The Vickers was a bit more advanced, but they were roughly, you know, old ones. And the Maxim the Germans used was still used it in World War II with sort of, shall we say, rear line units. I was in, I think, the MG8-15, which was sort of a LMG version of a water-cooled machine gun, which also uses there with some rear line units. Fun fact. Stug on the move there, adding the pin-up machine gun engaging in the section. Sappers moving about. Machine gun there getting wiped out here by the sniper, not quite doing so well there for VonClauswitz. So the question is, what is Findeed planning next? Is he going to go for specialization? Is he going to go for the AVRE? Lots of Cromwells, Fireflies, Comets, Churchills. What is Findeed's grand strategy here? And it's Anvil tactics, Churchill tanks. And we got air recons out from VonClauswitz requesting the Luftwaffe surveys the battlefield to suss out the British hiding positions to see if we can get an idea of the plans. We've always got paths there being flanked by Findeed. Stug with the machine gun volley, very nice. And tech up there for VonClauswitz. Tier 4 is now buildable. And these sappers here routed by the Pioneers. Panzer moving in, Stug hanging back. And there we go, Anvil tactics ready. Churchill tank is very close here for Findeed. Got that Panzer one backed up by the Sturmgeschütz. Section again, blast and mortified. Grenadiers opening up here with light machine guns. See from the point here, Panzer 4 moving out. Straight into a mine here though. And a pleasant development in the west. Oh, the sniper got killed by the single hit from the Panzer 4. A grotesque development here that certainly favours VonClauswitz greatly. It certainly looks like having the stronger and upper hand here versus Findeed. At the moment, Findeed's going to have to pull off a Herculean effort, or VonClauswitz, an absolutely pyrrhic effort for Findeed to, I think, really turn this around. Got mines laid down here with S-mines this time around. Or Sprengminen. Jumping on, basically. Mortar around on the 6-pounder gun here in the west. 6-pounder gun also there, worrying about armoured assaults here. Churchill tank is not far off.
Damned enemies tried to take a point from us.
Shots being fired. Section moving up with machine guns in the rear. And there you go. Cromwell moving out here for Findeed swiftly, aggressively.
Our capture point. They're trying to take it.
Bit of skirmishing here. Nothing great. Going to be still being held down. We got Tilly called in here, of course, now with a bit more bang for the buck. And oh, he's going for the Pack 40 there. If VonClauswitz does not realise that there's certainly airburst rounds that could cause him a bit of grief here. Uh-oh. He's not realising. There you go. First airburst shell goes off. Doesn't quite hit the mark. There we go. Pack Chrome is going down here to the sheer volume of Findeed's artillery barrage. Handful flanking in though, causing a bit of problem there. Mines being laid down. Anti-tank opening up the skirmishes. Need to fall back with it. VonClauswitz, schnell. Panzer moving up into the anti-tank. Couldn't hit it with an anti-tank grenade. Oh, retreats the saps instead. Chrome moving in. We got a Stuka bomb drop in, takes out the anti-tank and creates absolute pandemonium as VonClauswitz goes for the jugular. He's going for the kill. Findeed was calling a Churchill tank. Mine goes off, blasting apart his sapper section. They stood no chance. The poor devils were wiped out. Second 6-pounder gun though. He is on the job. Could like to take out that Panzer IV and pop goes that weasel. Cromwell's job. We got the other sapper section about it. Good pop an anti-tank grenade. 6-pounder gun can then up finish it off. Saps are running for it, but are they fast enough? 6-pounder gun trying it up here, I think, to deal with it. Oh dear, VonClauswitz might have been able to extend it against Findeed, in which case Findeed could turn this around. This could indeed be a perfect engagement for VonClauswitz, but no, he salvages the Panzer IV. The Churchill tank is almost done though. And can that then provide the weight, the gravity, to shatter VonClauswitz's lines? Sandbags stumbling sadly. They are Findeed sandbags and not VonClauswitz sandbags. Mortar fire raining down here, making it harder here for Findeed to move ahead. We got the Crom moving in. Anti-tank in the lands, an excellent hit, piercing the frontal armour. Sturmgeschütz fixed, moving ahead here. Churchill tank ready. More sappers for Findeed. It's starting to look like he might actually want to go for something like mobile assault. A few commanders here and there could, I think, give him a lot more, pressure. By the way, Church moving up here. Stug needs to be careful in front of that one. Needs to stay at max range, otherwise the Churchill will beat on the end. If Stug can stay at max range, and more specifically, stay beyond the range of the Churchill, it has the high rate of fire penetrating that way deal with the Churchill. But there you go, taking damage, so there you go, landing some good hits back on the Churchill tank. Mines going off there, another hit. Panzerfaust off on Findeed's Churchill tank. 6-pounder gun, they're almost getting the Sturmgeschütz. Rolling back with it. Chrome being fixed up. Very good work there by Findeed. 6-pounder gun moving up here. Pioneers routed. Anti-tank and crew there wiped out as well. Findeed is trying to do a lot here, and sadly it's not quite panning out for him. And we got, what is this? Flame inch mortar support here, lightly against the machine gun on the land bridge here, and there you go. Direct hit. Minor loss there for VonClauswitz. Churchill tank machine repairs. Cromwell on the move here, going straight for the grenadiers here. A rifle grenade off, wipes the machine gun. Findeed has no machine guns left at the moment as operatable. Churchill tank are halfway fixed here. Grenadiers moving up after the Cromwell's flank. Slowly getting there. Anti-tank and destroyed by VonClauswitz pack crews. Ceasing the MD-42 back here. Almost got the Churchill good to go. Maybe mines would help deal with those mess mines. Direct hit on the Crom here by the Pack 40. Halfway to efficiency 2. There we go, and the Panther will go straight for it. Direct hit here. Bounces off the Churchill's over 100mm thick armour. Shot bounced. Pack 40 on the head did not bounce. Crom moving up to support. Oh, the Panther will go extends here. Down to less than half health. It's going to go down. It's going to go down. The Pack 40 here. Oh, he popped target weak point, but he did not hit. And there you go. The Panther was down. The Pack 40 is toast. If the crew pops a grenade at it, that's definitely not going to make it out of there. Air support in, but it's too late. Oh dear, the right flank for VonClauswitz is collapsing. It's a potential disaster unfolding. Can VonClauswitz plug up this sudden gaping open wound that has appeared on the right flank? Pack 40 is about to go down. Stug moving up. Grenade off on the Grenadiers. Almost wipes the entire unit. Stuke, they're gaining. Veterans 1. Cromwell trying to get away. The Grenadiers almost wiped out. Smoking off from the Cromwell. Nice work. Stuke, though, gets off a shot here. Churchill moving in here, and there you go. The Cromwell's down. Sadly, wasn't fast enough to avoid. He might want to go for a more or less predictable route, I would say, rather than just trying to get out of there. He should have probably tried to get behind it. The Churchill or Stuke could catch it. Oh, he got the Churchill going for it. Stuke, close eventually too, but also close to death. Two fighting in the centre, machine gun grabbed here by Findeed. Oh dear, building cancelled. Churchill rolling through the base, Panzerfaust off. Probably should fall back here. VonClauswitz, though, is not going for any additional Stukes. Probably something that should have wanted to go, but he was clearly intent to go for the Panzer Corps. And now he's got none of it. He's just got a heavily damaged Stuke which cannot fight the Churchill. Then the crew can fire out of the side, so the Churchill. I don't know if they actually did that on the actual Churchill tank. I've not really found any sources that indicates that was a possibility. But I imagine really didn't just pull that one out of their arse. I'm just saying I haven't found a source for it. I'm also a bit unsure as to the practicality of it, but there you go. R8, massive landship here rolling back. Sappers pushed back from the center. Got the Churchill still carrying the retreat path here. Not good there for Findeed. He can soon go for another Cromwell. He could theoretically try and stall for a second Churchill. Got Veteran 2 here. And we get to Veteran 3. That will certainly help with the damaged engine issue. Almost got the 222. Close one. 6-pounder gun there. Needs to stop here in time. Might mean I need to support the vehicle crew repairs and then get fixed alongside the 7 as fast as possible. 6-pounder gun actually being outmaneuvered by the heavily crippled Ace 222. And the crew actually dies. But goes down to the section. There you go, fixing up the Churchill shots, bouncing, got the Stuke moving back in action here. Heavy Panzer, of course, still not built here for VonClauswitz. Should have long as he just go for more Sturmgeschütz. Smokes down, he pops, vehicle crew repairs. Now, what madness is this? I'm guessing that was a really poorly timed action there by Findeed. He's getting hammered above. There you go, popping a grenade on the Pack 40. Getting the crew, but the problem is there's still the Stuke. There's still the Stuke. Do you hear something knocking, Charles? I don't know, maybe go out there and ask. Yeah, that did not work out particularly well. 6-pounder gun moving up. Churchill tank, though, is almost dead. Shot bouncing off the Stuke armor there. Apparently that's a bit lucky there for VonClauswitz. Very close to the ace level. Churchill tank almost down. Rough grenade after the gun. Anti-tank gun. Heavy Panzer Corps back in action from VonClauswitz, at least back in process. Stuke moving in there. Shoots. He's trying to hit it. Oh, darts a shot there from the anti-tank gun. This is some high intensity stuff here. Can VonClauswitz take out the Churchill with a heavily damaged Sturmgeschütz? One mistake here. And it could be game over. There you go. Almost got it. One more hit. One more hit. Got the anti-tank gun. Crew can finish it off now with the Sturmgeschütz. Go for it, Ludwig. Forwards. Main gun out. Stuke shot and missed. But with the gun out, it's not really an issue. And the Churchill is down. Going for a Panther now. And another Churchill for Findeed. But at this stage, it's game over. GG. A victory for VonClauswitz and the Panzer Division VonClauswitz. A frantic fighting at times here, but in the end he pulled through. Findeed had a bit of a rougher start there. His heavy infantry build didn't quite work out for him. I think the AC could have been necessary. Maybe some more machine guns early on could also benefit Findeed. And overall, feel like the doctoral choice was also a bit on the weaker side. I feel like this is one where maybe mobile assault or special weapons would have been slightly more conducive there towards Findeed's winning here. But still, some nice fighting, some really close engagements. VonClauswitz at times was a bit overly aggressive. I think was close to throwing the fight, but in the end he pulled through. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed this match. Hope you learned something from it. If you did, subscribe, like, share, tell your friends, tell your family, but don't tell your enemies. This is Imperial LinkedIn. Cheers. Thank you for watching. You all a wonderful audience. Hope to see you tomorrow again for a nice sunny episode. Bye.